The BJP's top leadership has made a scathing critique of the security arrangements and the security lapses that made it possible for 8 bombs, multiple blasts to go off, many of them ahead of Narendra Modi's Hunkar rally in Patna. There are now reports emerging that indicate clearly that specific intelligence warnings were ignored or not acted upon by the Nitish Kumar government. Remember that 5 people had died yesterday in these blasts. 83 people are injured and 2 others are critically injured as well. Joining us now is senior leader of the BJP, Arun Jaitley, who was on that stage in Patna and listed the specific lapses by the Bihar government. Arun Jaitley, you said you thank your stars that in a sense the top leadership of the BJP did not come under direct target, which it easily could have. At which point did you all realize that something was gravely wrong?
Well, there was already a blast which had taken place in the railway station. There were some blasts in the periphery of the rally and some inside the venue itself where the people were sitting, which had taken place. I personally believe that the stage had been the dais had been reasonably sanitized. And therefore, the danger on the dais itself was not so great. But the real danger was in the crowd. If any blasts were taking place in the crowd, this could have led to a panic reaction, a stampede. And a stampede in a crowd of that magnitude would have had frightening consequences. Now, as soon as I arrived there, I was told by 2 police officers who had come from Gujarat to handle the Chief Minister's security, who told me that the venue was not safe. And therefore, we wanted some senior person from the Bihar police to guide us as to how we proceed with the rally. Should we continue? Should we not continue? Now, the consequences of non-continuing would be there would be 2 sets of people. One would be the enthusiastic crowd which would rush towards the dais as to why people, including Modi, are not coming to address the rally. The other would think that there is a security threat and there will be a stampede while walking out. The other consequence was to pretend that it's business as usual. So Shahnawaz Hussain announced that it's a tire burst. Somebody said nobody should use crackers to give a comfort level to the audience. And without the assistance of any senior officer of Bihar to guide us what to do in the matter, we used as our own common sense and pretended that all was normal. Fortunately, the explosives which had been left behind by them did not burst. And they were detonated only after the rally was over.
Yes.
And I thank my stars and good luck for all of us that nothing happened. Otherwise, the consequences on the crowd would have been really frightening.
Yes.
Partly because of the blast itself and substantially because of the stampede that would have followed.
Are you saying that at no stage, even after the blast went off at the Patna railway station, did anyone in the Bihar police get in touch with any of the BJP leaders or the organizers of the rally?
When the blasts were taking place, I had reached the venue. I was at the entry point of the stage. I requested the people that I would like to meet some senior police officer from Bihar to find out. A young lady officer came. I asked her as to whether it was safe and did she have an evacuation plan in mind. She said she would contact the SSP and get back to us. And thereafter, I never heard from anybody till all of us flew out of Bihar.
Were you ever asked by the Bihar government, as some of them are now suggesting, to delay the rally or call it off altogether?
I do understand that the Gujarat police had requested the Chief Minister of Gujarat to stay put at the airport and not come to the venue because the venue was not safe. But he did not agree to this because the consequences of not coming itself are very serious. A, you would be seen running away from a threat. B, the crowd itself would be agitated and you don't know how they would react in a manner of this kind. And C, the danger of a security threat could have also led to a stampede.
Now, Nitish Kumar, in his press conference, maintained that the intelligence that his government had received was of a general nature. Our correspondents are now confirming that from the 23rd of September onwards, there were in fact 3 different IB alerts, all pointing to the fact of enhanced threat perception when it came to Narendra Modi, in particular his election rallies. We know that the most recent one was just a couple of days before the 27th Hunkar rally. What do you make of the fact that the Chief Minister maintains that there was no specific intelligence when all of our sources are telling us that there were 3 different IB alerts?
My sources also tell me that at least there was a general alert on the 1st of October. There was a specific alert with regard to Indian Mujahideen on the 23rd of October itself with regard to the Hunkar rally. And this did mention the threat perception to Mr. Narendra Modi. I don't think the state police and the sources in Bihar seem to have instructed the Chief Minister adequately and correctly.
You seem to be suggesting that the Chief Minister has been misinformed, not that he is in a sense being defensive and perhaps not sharing the whole truth. Which one is it?
No, certainly if he is aware of such an alert, I don't see any reason why he should have concealed it.
But the BJP, understandably so, is extremely angry with the Nitish Kumar government. Some of your leaders have described it as criminal negligence, the kind of lapses we've seen. Could you share with us, we believe, and our reporters are telling us that even the entrance points did not have, not all the entrance points had metal detectors even.
You see, in a rally of this kind, particularly when a visiting Chief Minister comes, there is an advanced security liaison which is to take place and a written confirmation is done. I was told by the Gujarat police officers who were present there, and I presume it to be correct, that there was a little reluctance on this part. As far as the anti-sabotage measures are concerned with regard to the venue, they were not adequate. The entire screening of people who enter by virtue of frisking was not completely and adequately done. It was done in some cases, not done in some cases. The fact that such large ammunition and also that terrorists did manage to squeeze into the rally itself is an evidence of the fact that the detonators and timers and explosives, if you are sitting in the midst of the crowd, that you've entered without a check.
Do you believe that the political discourse in the aftermath of what clearly is a terror attack, the Indian Mujahideen now coming under the scanner, do you believe the political discourse has been responsible? The Chief Minister was careful to say that whatever the political differences he may have had with Narendra Modi, there was absolute condemnation of what had happened. But other JDU leaders, one of them on this very channel said, why is it that ever since the BJP and the JDU have parted ways, this has started happening? In the Congress, you have Digvijay Singh saying that Nitish Kumar has provided the perfect launch pad for Narendra Modi in Bihar. Do you find that this aftermath of this terror attack is now getting politicized?
I think the fundamental problem in India is that some people have decided to soften the battle against terrorism and link it to vote bank considerations. I think it's detrimental to the larger interest of the country. It's detrimental to the security scenario in the country. And I only hope that soft on terror also doesn't now mean soft on security.
Are you apprehensive going forward, given that we know now that Mr. Modi is a potential target, there is an enhanced threat perception around him? What does the BJP, what will you factor in the next rally?
I think, I only hope that better sense prevails and various state governments as also the central government realize that we can't afford any adverse incident. Yesterday it was the BJP, tomorrow it may be any other political party, and therefore it is the duty of everybody to see that we must honestly assess what the security environment in this country is. We have an open election in this country, we have public campaigning. The kind of rallies that we have in India and other South Asian countries are not the kind of rallies that you have in Western democracies. Ours are much larger, far more active, and therefore the need to provide adequate security and have standardized norms with regard to this security is extremely important. I do hope that this incident is inquired into, action taken if there is any negligence, and the fact that for future rallies of all political leaders, particularly those who are a high security risk, all adequate steps are taken by those concerned.
Do you believe that Nitish Kumar must take personal responsibility for what has happened on his watch? Question one. And question two, what adjective would you use to describe the kind of security or the kind of treatment that Narendra Modi received from the state government and the state police in Bihar?
Well, I would describe the level of security around this meeting. In terms of quantum, there were a lot of constables. But in terms of specific, particularly the technical compliance which is required in a high security risk meeting of this kind, I think it was completely inadequate. I would say it was casual, it was callous. Who is responsible? This only an inquiry can find out.
But do you believe, Mr. Jaitley, in the end, I must ask you, do you believe that this is something that was incompetence? Or was it complacency? Or is this a manifestation, you believe, of the bitter politics or the bitter parting that the JDU has had with the BJP?
Well, I would not like to give a final comment on this, but I have an uneasy feeling that some state governments in this country believe that to give an image to themselves that they are not very hard as far as the war against terror is concerned. They take it a little casually, but then a past experience has shown that those who ride the tiger have to pay very serious consequences for this in the end.
And in conclusion, were you ever in two minds about going ahead with the rally? You said Narendra Modi said no to not going to the venue. But there was also the danger, perhaps, that if more blasts would take place, all those attending could also find their lives jeopardized, not to mention all of you on the stage.
See, this question did not arise because the rally was already on.
Yes.
The only decision which we had to take was whether three of us should go to the dais or not. Everything else was in place. And the consequences of our not going to the dais personally and politically would be adverse to us. Secondly, it could create a situation which could have frightening consequences in terms of stampede and protests and panic. Therefore, we had to avoid it, and therefore we saw no consequence, no other alternative except to go to the dais. And thirdly, we must keep in mind that there was no professional security advice which was being given to us except those two officers of the Gujarat police who were there and who were advising us that there must be an evacuation plan ready, at least for the dais itself.
Well, grave questions about the security arrangements there that Arun Jaitley you have described as casual and callous. Thanks so much for joining us here on NDTV.